I'm going to read chapter 6 in Who is Pelé? The world of Pelé. After the injured muscle in his leg finally healed, Pelé returned to his high-scoring ways. Santos won several championships, including one among all the clubs in South America. In 1965, Pelé finally asked Rosemary's parents if he could marry her. Though he was used to playing in front of thousands of people, Pelé was nervous. He went fishing for a day with Rosemary's father. Pelé asked if he could marry Rosemary. The two men continued to fish, but her father never gave Pelé an answer. After a long day on the water, he told Pelé, "We'll see." Finally, after they had met with Rosemary's mother, the marriage was approved. Pelé and Rosemary were married by a priest at his parents' house in 1966. Because he was so famous, Pelé's fans had filled the streets outside hoping to see the couple. They could not leave the house for hours. For their honeymoon, Pelé and Rosemary toured Europe. They went to France, Switzerland, Germany, Austria, and Italy. In Rome, he got the chance to introduce Rosemary to Pope Paul VI. When they returned to Brazil, it was time to get ready for the 1966 World Cup. And the other teams headed to England for the matches were ready to take on Brazil. In games against both Bulgaria and Portugal, the opposing players knew they had to defeat Pelé to win their matches against the Brazilian team. And so, again and again, players fouled Pelé, kicking him in the legs. The other athletes' shameful behavior injured Pelé's body and also his pride. He no longer wanted to play for his national team. Portugal won their third game, and Brazil was out of the World Cup. In 1967, Pelé had a very busy year. After Rosemary gave birth to Kelly Christina, their first child, Pelé visited the United States with Santos. His appearances there were set records for the biggest crowds up to that time in U.S. soccer history. Even in a nation where soccer was not that popular, Pelé was well known. Later in the year, he visited Africa, including stops by Senegal, Nigeria, and Congo. He was mobbed everywhere he went. To these people who had little possibility of ever escaping the crushed poverty in which they found themselves, I somehow represented a ray of hope, he wrote later. In 1969, the Santos team was on another tour of Africa. The people of the Nigerian state of Biafra were at war with each other. However, people on both sides of the fighting wanted to see Pelé play. For 2 days, the fighting stopped. Pelé and Santos played, and the war resumed once they had left Nigeria. This single event showed just how big an international star Pelé really was. Meanwhile, reporters in Brazil had been keeping careful track of Pelé's scoring. They determined that he had scored nearly 1,000 goals during his professional career. A countdown began. Finally, on November 19th, 1969, he scored on a penalty kick to reach the magic number. Fans poured onto the field and lifted him high on their shoulders. Photographers crowded around him. His jersey was pulled off and a new one put on. Instead of a shirt bearing his famous number 10, the new jersey read 1,000. Only a few players had ever scored that many goals, and none had been as famous as Pelé. Even as fans showed their love for him, Pelé returned it. In a speech to the crowd, he thanked them for their support. He also urged them to help the young people of Brazil who were living in poverty. Pelé never forgot that his own youth had not been easy.